Surah Al-Waqi'ah. Surah Al-Waqi'ah consists of 96 verses including the Makkiyah surahs revealed after Surah Thaa Haa. It is called Al-Waqi'ah, which means Doomsday, taken from the words al-Waqi'ah contained in the first verse of this chapter. The main contents of Surah Al-Waqi'ah. Major events on Doomsday. It is mentioned in Surah Al-Waqiah verses 1 to 10. On the day of judgment, which will definitely occur, no one can deny this incident. When the earth was shaken violently, and the mountains were destroyed, everything became flying dust. Humans will be divided into three groups, namely the noble right group, the miserable left group, and those who believe first, who will be the first to enter heaven. Recompense for those who believe first. It is mentioned in Surah Al-Waqiah verses 11 to 26. These verses describe that people who are brought closer to Allah will be in a paradise full of pleasure, consisting of a large group of people from the past and a small group of people from the future. People who come later. They will relax on couches studded with gold and jewels, surrounded by children who are always young, serve drinks from a flowing spring without making them dizzy or drunk. They are also offered fruits and the meat of birds, choices, and accompanied by beautiful angels like pearls that are well stored as a reward for their good deeds. In that heaven, they will not hear useless or sinful conversations but only greetings. Reward for the right group. It is mentioned in Surah Al-Waqiah verses 27 to 40. These verses describe the noble right group as being among the bidara tree which has no thorns, the banana tree whose fruit is in rows, with broad shade, water pouring out, fruit that continues to bear fruit without stopping, and mattresses that are thick and soft. They are surrounded by angels who were created directly, as virgins who are full of love and the same age, which is intended for the right group, consisting of a large group of people from before and also from people after. Doom for the left. It is mentioned in Surah Al-Waqiah, verses 41 to 56. These verses describe the left group as being very miserable, being tormented by hot winds, boiling water, and the shade of black smoke which is neither cool nor pleasant. They previously lived in luxury and continued to commit grave sins. This group doubted resurrection after death, but the Prophet Muhammad stated that all people, both previous and later, would be gathered on the appointed day. The heretics and liars will experience torment by eating zakum trees, drinking hot water, and feeling an unquenchable thirst as retribution for their actions on the day of judgment. Various signs of God's power. It is mentioned in Surah Al-Waqiah verses 57 to 74. These verses emphasize God's power in the creation of humans and the universe. Humans are asked about the creation of sperm, seeds, water, and fire, and are given the understanding that all of this is the result of God's creation alone. Allah asserts that He determines death and is able to recreate humans in unknown circumstances. Humans are reminded to be grateful for the blessings given by Allah and are reminded that all of this is a sign of greatness and benefits for those who believe. These verses invite humans to reflect on the wonders of Allah's creation and glorify Him as the most great God. The glory of the Qur'an, mentioned in Surah Al-Waqiah verses 75 to 82. These verses emphasize the greatness of the Qur'an, which was revealed from the Lord of the worlds, mentioned as a preserved book that can only be touched by the purified servants of Allah. Allah swears by the place where the stars revolve to confirm the truth of the very noble Qur'an, and rebukes those who belittle the Qur'an and use the sustenance received from Allah to deny Him. Warning about Sakaratul Maut, mentioned in Surah Al-Waqiah verses 83 to 96. Allah is closer to a dying person than a human who sees it but does not realize it. Humans are asked why they do not return the soul that has reached the throat if they are truly righteous people. The dead will obtain peace, sustenance, and a paradise full of pleasure if they are included in the group brought close to Allah. However, the right group will receive greetings and enjoyment, while the group of liars and heretics will receive torture in the form of boiling water and hell as punishment for their actions. All of these are beliefs that must make humans glorify God, the Almighty. Conclusion of Surah Al-Waqi'ah. Surah Al-Waqiah explains the circumstances of the Day of Judgment and the rewards received by believers and unbelievers. This chapter also describes the creation of humans, plants, and fire as proof of God's power and the existence of the day of resurrection. In the context of faith, this chapter describes the chaos that will occur on the day of judgment, where humans will be divided into three groups: the group that hastens to goodness, the right group, and the group that is wretched, each with an appropriate response. This chapter also refutes the denial of people who doubt the existence of God, the day of resurrection and reckoning, and confirms that the Qur'an comes from Lauhul Mahfudz. Apart from that, this chapter provides a description of heaven and hell.